Fox News medical correspondent Dr. Marc Siegel. Marc, let me just put to you, following on from what I've just said, open where possible, closed where necessary. I think the central question that a lot of people have been putting to me, and you hear it all the time, which is why can't we just protect the vulnerable and everyone else can go on with their lives? That was being rejected by some. I want to read you this quote and ask you to respond. This is in an article in The Atlantic a lot of people were looking at, which is how does the coronavirus end? The quote is this: high-risk people, such as the elderly, could be protected while lower-risk people are allowed to go back to work. Such thinking is seductive but flawed. It overestimates our ability to assess a person's risk and to somehow wall off the high-risk people from the rest of the society. Why is that flawed? Why can't we do a more targeted strategy?
Steve, I think we can do a more targeted strategy. I think that argument is flawed, but there is a missing piece that I want to bring up to you. It's called rapid point-of-care testing. We now have it. Abbott put out a test. They claim they can test 50,000 people a day. It's in a small box. You go to it. They do a tiny nasal swab, not the big cumbersome thing we've been talking about. 5 to 13 minutes later, they tell you whether you have COVID-19 or not. That's the first answer to this question. If I know that people don't have it, I feel much more secure about them going to work, obviously. If I know they do have it, maybe I can use universities that are now shut or hotels or have them shelter in place at home if they can do that safely. I can select them out from the community at large and let people who don't have COVID-19 go back to work. The flawed argument is basically saying if we don't know who has it, then we have to consider young people or healthy people as typhoid Marys. They might end up with it and spread it to a higher risk group. But it's time now for that thinking in the blind to go away. We can tell who has it now, and we need to test wider groups of people.
And do you think that can be ramped up sufficiently in the next month? We've got this extra month now with the extension of the guidelines that was announced today. Do you think that gives us enough time to get to that point with the testing?
I think it better, and I think we're going to put emphasis on that tonight, and I think it will, and I think we have the ability to. I want to say two other things about that, Steve. First, I want to echo your point about suicide, because unemployment and pandemics are both high risk of suicide, high risk of depression. It's what we call collateral damage in medicine, and it's so important that you are focusing on that tonight, and that people with a very narrow vision ignore that, but that's the overall damage done. The second point I want to make is, in addition to the test I talked about, we now have a blood test that Henry Schein has put out that can tell us who is immune and who's not immune. Literally, somebody walking around with immunity to this virus or who had it before and we now know they're over it, in a way, they're a protective group. That group can certainly get back to work. If you have your immune cells, if you have antibodies to the virus, we know you had it, we know you're over it, you can go back to work. So these tests are crucial to flying in the face of what the Atlantic is trying to say. They're wrong, provided that I have the information I need. I think I can get that information very rapidly. I think we have the technology, and it's time our healthcare system works the way it's supposed to. The private-public partnership here, finally the FDA has approved these two tests. It took too long. Now's the time to get it widely circulated. Both of these tests, one a blood test and one a nasal swab.
So just to sort of wrap it up there, open where possible, closed where necessary. Sounds like you support that strategy, but it only works if you have widespread testing, not just of those people with symptoms, but of everyone. Am I understanding you correctly?
I want to qualify that and say two things. Everyone who may have it or may have been in contact with someone who had it, that's the group I want tested. Could you have it? Do you have that cough, shortness of breath? Do you have symptoms I'm concerned about? And who you were in contact with? And the second point I want to make, and this is, I think you probably agree with me, we need to worry about the epicenters, right? So if I can test around the epicenters, the areas, the hot zones we're calling them, well, maybe in the middle of Montana you're okay and can go back to work. Maybe in the, the rural areas, areas where this virus isn't hitting. 19 states have not seen major cases here. Those places should certainly be reopened if we can be sure that they don't have a lot of virus. Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you for your expertise on this tonight and every day
and every night. We really appreciate it. Dr. Siegel, thanks so much and see you soon.